Good afternoon, everybody. Hands up those who've seen me before. Hands up those who haven't. Hands up those who couldn't give a hoot, whether you see me or not. Now, some of you to come here today will have come a short distance. Others of you a bit further away. And I know some of you have come a very long way. Now, it's my hope that by the end of our time together, we're all going to feel the very same. That you're going to feel that our time together has been challenging, stimulating, and worthwhile. And that, whether you have come a short distance to be here, a bit further away, or a long, long way away. And when the applause died down... No, don't stop. Magic, the stuff of dreams, making the impossible happen. I'm sure there's not a day in the week goes by that you are not faced with doing the impossible, especially when it comes to people, because that's the way we tear our hair out on, isn't it? And of course, you know, first-class businesses have first-class relationships. So I'm going to be talking to you about relationships, leadership, engagement, all of those kind of issues. It's 7:30 in the morning. Mum shouts up the stairs, "Peter, time for school." 10 minutes goes by, not a sound. "Peter, come on, you're going to be late." Another 10 minutes goes by, not a sound. Last time, I'm getting really annoyed. And this voice comes down the stairs, "Mum, I'm not going to go to school today." Mum marches up the stairs, opens up the bedroom door. "What's this? You're not going to go to school today?" "Well, the boys and girls don't like me. The teachers don't like me. Nobody likes me. I'm not going to go to school today." And Mum says, "I'll give you 2 reasons why you should go to school today. Number 1, you're 45 years of age. And number 2, you're the head teacher." And the point, Nana, just throw 10 euro notes. The point I'm making is work has got to be a sort of a place you want to get out of your bed in the morning to go to. And if it isn't, is it a leadership issue? Every part of me is screaming, of course. Is it a culture issue? Every part of me is screaming, of course. So how do you create that culture? Don't go away. It gets better. So how do you create that culture? How do you create that culture so that when that alarm goes off in the morning, instead of pressing it just another 10 minutes, I will want to be there? Is there a magic secret? Is there a switch we can turn? Yeah. So listen, just want to do a few little things just in terms of how serious if we don't get our relationships right. Yeah, what percentage of people leave jobs, leave people? What percentage? 75% of people leave jobs because of relationship issues, and most of those are with their immediate supervisor. First time I came across that, I thought, that's a bit... But actually, when I thought myself, when I was in, I want to get out of here, was it the job itself? No, it was how I perceived I was being treated. And that's the Saratoga Institute, I've put that. What percentage of the manager's time is lost to dysfunctional conflict? Dana has that at 25%. So these, and most stress is caused by management, all the study, because only 30% of people trust their bosses. David MacLeod, the employee engagement guru. Will you follow somebody you don't trust? No. So these figures, yeah, it's quite serious what's going on in terms of profitability, quality of work life for everybody, etc., etc. You guys are all leaders of people. If those statistics are true, it would appear you're inept, incompetent, and very useless at getting the best out of people, is how some people will interpret that. Me, you're in the top 10% of the talent pool, or you wouldn't be in this room. And if those statistics are correct, it must mean you're doing a difficult job. And of course you are. The job is people. Turn to the person beside you, please. Turn to the person beside you. I go in this direction here, you go in that direction, so we don't see eye to eye. And you think, well, I'll do something different, but we still don't see eye to eye. You try something different again, that's the time to go shopping, play a game of golf, do anything but stay in that relationship when all you want is for us both to be going in the same direction. Please think of the time you lose here, the stress that's generated there. And you'll know you're running my principles by how much time and less time you save. So, how do we get people who are different going in the same direction? Turn to the person beside you, please. Turn to the person beside you. So I do want you with one other person. If you have to make it a threesome, make it a threesome. Now, Eskimos, when they greet, rub noses. If anybody wants to change their partners. All right, you come to work to have your needs met, don't you? We all come to work to have our needs met. Now, it might just be the salary, so I can feed my children. It might be for social reasons. It might be it's a vocation. But your needs, if your needs are not met in the job, how will it leave you feeling? So a quick chat with the person beside you or the people around you. If your personal needs are not met in the job, how will it impact on you? How will it leave you feeling? So if your needs are not met in the job, how will it leave you feeling? Frustrated, demotivated, unhappy, disappointed, not recognized. I'll do loads of moaning and blaming and criticizing, and when the pain gets too much, what will I do? I will leave. All the things you don't want in your business, is that correct? Is that correct? All the things that tell you leadership is not working, is that correct? So is leading your people, getting the best out of your people, about connecting with their needs? I must have a louder yes than that. Is leading your people, getting the best out of your people, about connecting with their needs? Yes. Absolutely. Now, everything I'm going to say from here on is based on that premise. We need to make a distinction, though, between leading the business and leading the people in the business. They're two very distinct functions of leadership, and very often we get them all mixed up. And the people whose gift is in leading the business, strategy, vision, implementation, procedures, very often their gift is not getting the best out of people and vice versa. But all my work for the last 30 years in organizations around leadership, culture, engagement, all those kind of issues, I'm making sure it embeds, it makes a difference. In other words, is transforming rather than informing. So all my work has been around that. So how do we get the best out of our people so those people are now energized and motivated to achieve those business objectives more fully? So what's the secret? And what we're saying is, leading your people, getting the best out of your people, is about meeting with their needs. So the first question surely is, if we accept that, the first question surely is, do you know the needs of your people? And are those needs being met? And if you don't know the answer to those questions, how on earth have you been going about this leadership stuff? No wonder those statistics are true, because it's all hit and miss. And what do? I know how you need to be treated. We mind read. Does mind reading work? Of course it doesn't. The other big mistake we make is we assume other people have the same needs as you and want to be treated the way you want to be treated. That is the single biggest mistake we make in our relationships, at home, work, anywhere in our lives. That is the single biggest mistake. We make the assumption other people have the same needs as you and want to be treated as you do. And if they have different needs to you, you will dysfunction them, you will make their lives miserable, you will be a source of conflict. The tragedy is you won't be aware of it. The tragedy is you won't be aware of it. Because in your world, how could anybody want to be treated like that? I would. We are dramatically different. The difference between us is not just minor, it's dramatic. Raise your hand. Close your eyes, everybody, please. Close your eyes, everybody, please. Some of you were ahead of me on that. Yeah. Raise your hand if you know the color of the flooring in this room. Raise your hand if you know the color of the flooring in this room. I have some hands up. Quite a bit more than I would have thought. Open up your eyes and see, was it correct? Was it correct? And let's be honest, we walk in here. What did you do with that information? That it's green? You dismissed it. Did you do that consciously? No. It was unconscious. Yeah. Hands up those who are married to the wrong person. Really important when you're listening for needs, and we just heard a lot about this recently, yeah? Listen, let the other person finish what they are going to say. The point I want to make in terms of the color of the floor, it's there. There is information about people's needs around us, but we don't recognize it. Like any moan, blame, or criticism. What do they tell us? They're clumsy expressions of unmet needs. So if you want a rough measure for your leadership, getting the best out of your people, how much moaning, blaming, criticizing is going on in my team, in my part of the business? Yeah. Now, do we all have the same needs? Oh, we all have a unique set of needs. Do the needs remain constant? Do they fluctuate? They fluctuate. It's like food. I've had something to eat. I'm not hungry now. 3 hours' time, I'll be starving. So needs fluctuate. So we need to keep a track on them on a fairly regular basis. Now, if your needs, are any one of us likely to go through life with our needs being met? It's not going to happen. Sure it's not? No. So are your needs more likely to be met by people who've got similar needs to you? Imagine I'm into cuddles, I like physical contact, and I'm with somebody else who also is into cuddles. Are we likely to meet each other's needs? Oh, give us a cuddle. It's a whole 3 hours since I've seen you. Oh, that's lovely. What if I'm with somebody who needs personal space? Is my need for cuddles likely to be met? Oh, for goodness sake, give us a cuddle. You had one 6 months ago. Look as if you mean it. And then what do? We make them wrong. There's something wrong with you. You're emotionally arrested. You need to see a therapist. Isn't this how we do that? How disrespectful is that? We're not recognizing the validity of their need. And we're not wanting to connect with that need or meet it. Now, how important are needs to us? Really, really, really important. Because if you don't get food, air, and water, what happens? You die. It's about survival. It's about thriving. It's about... What if my emotional needs are not met? If I have a need to be appreciated and I don't feel appreciated, I need to be consulted, involved. If those needs are not met, do I die? Yes, you die emotionally. May not be as dramatic as physical, but the pain is real. I feel depressed, unhappy, angry. See, if you think about it, it's quite easy to understand. If there's a smile on my face, what happens? Why is the smile? Oh, my needs have been met. If there's a scowl on my face, a bad feeling, it's because my needs are not being met. It's relatively easy to understand this, but this agenda is really important. Why? Is there a relationship between needs being met and not being met and performance? Yeah. You see, if my needs are not being met, guess what happens? My focus goes to getting the needs met. So imagine I need to go to the toilet. It's 3 out of 10. I can still concentrate. I can do my job speaking, but I'm beginning to wonder, where are the toilets? Oh, they're out there on the left, I think. What if it's 9 out of 10? You're on your own. I can't concentrate. I can't do my job. To the extent that your needs are not being met in the workplace, expect people to be off focus. And usually they're all focused by moaning, blaming, criticizing. Do people smile when you walk into the room or when you leave the room? Dead serious question. Because if people are glad to see the back of you, are you meeting their needs? What I would like you to do, please, is what about quality of life and needs? I know it's important to your business, really important to your business and leadership, but what about quality of life for anyone else? Is the more my needs to be met, the better experienced life is? Absolutely. So as we go through this journey of life together, the more my needs have been met, the bigger the smile on my face, the better the experience. Wow. This is a massively important agenda. So everybody take your right foot and draw a circle like that with your right foot, please. And then what I want you to do is draw 6 as you do that. And what happens? Can you do it? No, it's impossible. Now, I know motivational speakers will say to you, nothing's impossible. Well, that's impossible. Also, what's impossible is if you try to lead and get the best out of people without connecting to their needs, you are looking for toasted snow. It does not exist. You can't lead, you can't get the best out of your people except through needs. Yeah. So in our relationships, we invest, I work late, I don't feel it working, I smile while I don't feel like smiling, and all of that investment can go for nothing. This is what we call an absorbing read. Absorbing. Okay. However, at a time maybe when you most need it and least expect it, it will be there for you. So never give up on people. Miracles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through the work that I have been doing and share with you this whole thing of the needs agenda, if we need to take that forward in some way. So it is all about needs, and what we're after is needs being met, because that means I'm energized, motivated, fulfilled, all the things we want, yes? Then if the needs are not being met, what's my choices? Well, most of us, what do? We moan about it to our colleagues. Do I get my needs met? No. Why? Because I'm talking about the person, but not to the person. Yeah. So that means my needs will go unmet. The other choice you have is go and have the conversation. And we had lots of stuff this afternoon about making it safe for people to have these conversations. So I noticed just because you have the conversation doesn't mean to say the need is going to be met. But there's a better likelihood of it being met. So this is all about creating a culture where people do feel safe to be open, to be honest. And it's about creating the needs-focused culture. So within the culture, that's who we are. We're focused on each other's needs. We're focused on our customers' needs and so on and so forth. So I put this together in what I call an even better place to work, which is an online self-managed tool. And basically what it does is you start off, if you take seriously what you said about leadership being about connecting with people's needs, do you know the needs of your people and how they're being met? So the first thing we needed to do was create a diagnostic, a needs diagnostic, if you like, a checkup, but around the needs. And of course, when I went looking in the marketplace, there was nothing there that actually did that. So basically created our own, or my own on that. So just nice and simply, are your needs being met? What are your needs and how they being met? It answers those two questions and does a lot more. But just keeping it nice and simple. So it's all right having some questions, and you'll be aware of this as well. I wanted to avoid some of the issues with other surveys, because very often there's assumption in surveys. So for example, leadership is inspiring, very often is a question you will come across. Why would that not, for me, be a good question? Because there's an assumption everybody wants and feels better from inspirational leadership. Is inspirational leadership always inspiring? No, it's dysfunctional to some people. Go away. There are quiet leaders who have genuine followers making big differences. So other assumptions might be, I have a best friend at work. We all know that one. Yeah? Does everybody want a best friend at work? Of course they don't. I feel appreciated by my team. Is that a good question? There's an assumption. Everybody wants to be appreciated. They don't. Some people feel patronized. So we need to be cleverer. And all the questions are designed whether your needs are being met in your team. Why is that so important? Because if my needs are not being met, where does the problem lie? Within this group of people. Therefore, the solution lies within this group of people. So what we're doing is we're transforming the relationship or the organization at local levels in teams. And every one of the questions is actionable. So this is all about now getting people to take ownership. So the data doesn't go back to management for management to come up with solutions, because that's an impossible task, isn't it? So from a corporate perspective up here to try and find solutions down here to the local level. So we wanted the data to go back to individuals and people for them to find their own solutions. Now, imagine going to the doctor for a checkup and he says, you've got eczema. End of conversation. Would you be happy? No, I don't care what you call it. I want the solution. I want the cream. So again, partly this is all about, we designed this not from some academic model or theory, but talking to managers, talking to people like I says, what do you need so you will want to get out of your bed in the morning? And that was led to the whole of this. So it's coming from a different place, which is why it's practical, it's friendly, and it works, because it's the direct result of talking to managers about their needs. So we've come up with the medicine, not just a checkup, but the medicine, because that's really what's going to make the difference. That's going to be what's important. So it's 5% diagnostic, 95% solution. So you can see that's what it's big on. And we know today there's so many really good surveys out there. Organizations have piles of data, but very often they don't know what to do with it. So, yeah. And then we're going to retake the diagnostic. We're going to check to make sure it actually is working and making a difference. And then extend that approach to customers and suppliers. What's good customer service? Meeting the customers of your needs of your customers, isn't that right? What's selling? Again, the link with needs. So you can see how it comes together. So about culture. Now, the other thing about performance, very often an individual's performance, it may not be to do with the individual, it could be to do with the culture. If you can imagine you're in a toxic culture with exhaust fumes, poisons in the air, what will that do to your health? What will that do to your performance? It really will affect it. So the same in organizations, if the culture is there, which is a toxic culture, don't expect people to perform. So it is about leadership and making the link between leadership and needs. It is about engagement, the growth of, yes. So, over here, it's an elastic band and a ring. I need to borrow a ring off somebody. So can I borrow a ring off somebody, please? Thank you very, very much. Now, this is a trick you can show your children for Christmas. If you haven't got any children, you're a bit late for this Christmas. So watch what I'm doing. I'm holding the band. I'm holding it slightly up, not down, but I think you can see the ring actually moves on the band. Yes? Now, how's that trick done? Apart from very well. Would you like me to show you? Now, I am a member of the Magic Circle, so you have to make me a promise. Raise your right arms, please. Say after me, I promise. Shay, that's me. No, that's not you. That's yes, I do children's birthday parties. I'll speak at conferences. I'll do whatever. Now, you all think I grab the end of the band there. It'll never work. What you don't realize is I take half the band and hold it in here and stretch just half the band. And then I release the pressure between my thumb and my forefinger. And watch what happens. The ring appears to move on the band. Actually, it doesn't. But it just appears to move on the band. Thank you. Now, the first time I saw that trick, I went, wow, that's impressive. And when he showed me how it was done, I went, oh, is that all? If you're looking for something which will make a massive difference to your relationships and is dead easy to do, talk needs, not proof. Because that's what we get into is arguments with yes buts. So talk needs, not proof. You're likely to find that's going to make a massive difference. A few years ago, I got a phone call. 6 people in this team, in this particular organization that we all know, had brought grievances against their boss. When I arrived on the morning to start the workshop, we were gathering around the table and Somebody said, for my benefit, we've been sent to Brett camp. So they weren't in a good place as a team. Anyway, did the workshop, had a good time. A couple of weeks later, I ring the team leader. And I say, how's it going? He says, it's going okay. So I said, what's allowing it to go okay? And his answer was, I now know what to do. And it struck me just so forcibly. He'd been in all the leadership courses. He knew all about Maslow's theory of needs. How many of you done Maslow's theory of needs? How many of you done it more than once? How many of you done it about 5 times? Have you done anything with it? You know, it's people like me, we give you loads of theories when what you're wanting is the tools. You need to go to Paris. Well, the first thing you need to understand is how an internal combustion engine works. No, you just need the car. And really, that's what Better Place to Work is. It's the car. Yeah? And over here, you're very welcome to take one of these, which is, this is a no-moan zone. In other words, talk about your needs. Don't moan that they're not being met. And please talk to me, not about me. And then the skills for having those conversations are in there. So they're all available on the USB stand. So there'll be plenty of theirs for you tomorrow. And they'll also be able to answer any questions about an even better place to work. But what I try to do as well is, today we're living in the world of apps. And there's health apps out there which allow people to self-monitor, to take ownership for their health. Yeah, and there will be some sort of a diagnostic, and then there'll be workouts and nutritional plans and so on and so forth. So that's what I've tried to do with Better Place. It's actually, if you like, a health app, or it's a needs app. But the critical bit is getting people themselves taking ownership, asking the question, what am I going to do, rather than what is management going to do for me? Henry Ford, beginning of last century, said, why is it every time I hire a pair of hands, I get a human being? Now think of it, go back over 100 years ago. Was there much emphasis on people's needs, or was the emphasis on the business needs? It was the business needs. Was Henry Ford concerned about people finding fulfillment at work? I doubt it. But what did that lead to? If all your people ever hear is management's agenda, the business agenda, never their agenda, what's going to happen? You're going to create your difficult people. So, going back over 100 years ago, people's needs were not considered. You're there to do a job, I'll supervise you, make your life difficult if you don't perform, and we'll pay you that amount. What did that lead to? The unions, people being very unhappy, people doing just enough work so they don't get fired. All the things we've grown out of. And what's helping us to grow out of that is to get the emphasis on the individual's needs. People finding fulfillment at work. So it's just as useful in a historical sense. And we're not suggesting for one moment that an individual's need is more important than the business need. It isn't. The business need always, always, always has priority. But if you neglect, if you don't focus at some stage on the individual's needs, you're going to create all your people problems. The mantra's got to be, meet the business needs without neglecting the needs of people. Meet the business needs without neglecting the needs of people. So, over here, we have a yellow handkerchief. Instead of having a yellow handkerchief, we now have a red handkerchief. Now, the psychologists tell us to bring about effective behavior change, you need a very clear description of your current behavior and of your preferred behavior. Now, the whole idea is to get rid of the behaviors that you don't want and replace those with the behaviors that you do want. But of course, we live in the real world where those old behaviors will mix with those new behaviors. And if you want to get rid of those old behaviors and replace those with those new behaviors, what you really need is not a good speaker, but a good magician. The words around that are real. The more specific you are about what you want to achieve, the more it is likely to happen. And now we come to the giveaway part of the show. And the giveaway prizes are... Who'd like a complimentary copy of this book on resolving conflict? If the whole needs agenda interests you, you'll find that a really, really good read. Nice and simple, but it's all about the needs. Who'd like a complimentary copy? That's the first hand I saw up. If you want me to sign it later, I'd be delighted to sign it. This one, 4 steps to resolving conflict. These steps guarantee you manage differences in open and honest ways about conflict or argument. And I did see your hand up first. That's £9.99, please. I didn't say the second one was free, yeah? And this one actually combines, you know those personality types, the Myers-Briggs, Insights, SDI? They're really, really good to help us to understand an individual and an individual's needs. But it doesn't tell us if those needs are being met by your colleagues. And that's the What Better Place to Work brings. So together, it makes it really, really powerful. So the first half of that is about personality types, and the second is the language skills for managing differences. Who would like a couple of, did you see? I need to have my eyes. So I'm going to leave you with the quickest trick in the world. The King of Hearts is going to change the 4 clubs. When that happens, I want none of this, oh, jolly good, Shay. I want you to go wild with excitement and say, wow, that man is unbelievable. How are you going to be going? Okay, we'll settle for that. King of Hearts, look at that. Whatever you're doing, make it simple. If you're going to borrow money, borrow from a pessimist. They don't expect it back. All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the morning to find it was only vanity. But those who dream by day are remembered men, for they dream with open eyes and make it possible. Are you a dreamer of the day or a dreamer of the night? Mihai, thank you ever so much for inviting me to speak, and it's been a real pleasure working with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.